After 20 years of trust, one casual confession shattered my world and sparked a cold, calculated revenge I'll never imagine.
My name is Jacob, and after 20 years of marriage, I thought I knew my wife better than anyone else in the world. We built a life together in a quiet suburban neighborhood outside Chicago. 2 kids now grown and out of the house, a comfortable home with a backyard pool we rarely used anymore, and a routine that felt as steady as the seasons. I worked as a senior accountant for a mid-sized firm, bringing home enough to keep us secure without flash. She had her part-time job at a local boutique and filled her days with yoga classes, book clubs, and whatever new hobby caught her eye. We weren't passionate anymore, but we were comfortable. Or so I believed. That Friday evening started like any other. I came home from work a little after 6, kicked off my shoes, and poured myself a glass of the cheap Cabernet we kept on the counter. She was in the kitchen, already dressed up in a way I hadn't seen in years. A sleek black dress that hugged her figure, heels that made her legs look endless, and her hair styled in loose waves that framed her face. Makeup on point, perfume lingering in the air. She looked good, better than good. It caught me off guard. "Hey," I said, setting my glass down. "Going somewhere?" She turned from the mirror where she'd been checking her lipstick and gave me a casual smile, the kind you'd give a roommate when borrowing the car. "Yeah, I'm heading out on a date. Might sleep with the guy if it feels right. I figure it could teach me some new tricks for our bedroom. You know, spice things up for us." I stared at her, the wine glass halfway to my lips. The words hung there, absurd and sharp, like a joke delivered with a straight face. "What?" She shrugged, picking up her purse. "Don't look so shocked, Jacob. We've been in a rut forever. 20 years and the same old routine. I need something fresh. He's a guy from my yoga class, fit, attentive, knows what he's doing from what the other girls say. I'll probably stay over if it goes well. Don't wait up." My stomach twisted into a knot. This wasn't the woman I married. The one who used to laugh at my bad jokes and curl up against me on the couch after long days. She was speaking like she was announcing a trip to the grocery store. "You're serious? After everything we've built, the kids, the house, all those years?" She sighed, a little impatient, as if I was the one being unreasonable. "It's just sex, Jacob. Not like I'm leaving you. I'll be back tomorrow or Sunday. Think of it as research. For us." She leaned in, gave me a quick peck on the cheek like it was nothing, and headed for the door. "Love you. See you later." The door clicked shut behind her. I stood there in the kitchen for what felt like hours, the Cabernet forgotten. My hands started shaking. 20 years. I had been loyal, steady. The guy who remembered anniversaries and fixed the leaky faucet at 2 a.m. And she was casually going out to fuck some yoga instructor to learn new tricks. The betrayal hit like a freight train, slow at first, then crushing. I didn't sleep that night. I paced the house, replaying her words, her casual tone. Part of me wanted to call her, beg her to come home, scream at her. Another part, the colder, darker part that had been simmering under the surface of our comfortable life, started calculating. She had crossed a line she couldn't uncross. This wasn't a one-time slip or a drunken mistake. She had announced it to my face like my feelings were an afterthought. By morning, the anger had crystallized into something sharper. Resolve. If she wanted new tricks, fine. But she wasn't coming back to the life we had. Not the way it was. I started with the finances first. We had a joint account, but over the years I'd quietly built a separate savings in my name only. Bonus money, investments I never mentioned because she wasn't interested in that side of things. I transferred everything from the joint accounts into mine, then emptied the shared credit cards by paying them off and canceling them. Our house was in my name from before we married. She never pushed to change it. I called my lawyer friend at 8 a.m. on Saturday, explained the situation in clipped terms. He walked me through the basics: separation of assets, potential for abandonment claims since she left voluntarily. By noon, I had the framework for divorce papers drafted and ready. Next came the house. Every photo of us, every memento from vacations and anniversaries. I gathered them methodically. Her clothes in the closet, her jewelry in the drawer, the expensive bags she'd collected over the years. I carried it all to the backyard fire pit we'd installed for summer parties that never happened. I doused everything in lighter fluid and watched it burn. The flames licked high, black smoke curling into the clear sky. Her silk blouses melted, her favorite heels cracked in the heat, framed pictures bubbled and warped. Ashes floated on the breeze like dirty snow. I felt nothing but a grim satisfaction. She wanted to play games? I'd erase her from this house. By afternoon, I'd changed the locks, wiped her access from our streaming accounts, and packed what little remained of her personal items into trash bags. The kids were adults. I texted them a neutral message saying their mother and I were having issues and she'd be staying elsewhere for a while. No details. Not yet. She texted me around 7 p.m. that Saturday. Had a great night. Learning a lot, heading home soon. Miss you. I didn't reply. When her car pulled into the driveway Sunday morning, the sun was just coming up. I was sitting on the front porch with a cup of coffee, the house dark behind me. She stepped out looking rumpled but glowing, that post-sex flush still on her cheeks. Her dress was slightly wrinkled, hair a mess. She smiled at first, then frowned as she noticed the changed locks and my expression. Jacob, what's going on? Why won't my key work? I stood up slowly. The house is empty of you now. Your belongings? Ashes in the fire pit out back. Every penny we shared is gone, moved where you can't touch it. You walked out for your date like it was nothing. Now you've got nothing here. Her face paled. She rushed past me, fumbling at the door, then ran around to the back. I followed at a distance. The fire pit was still warm, gray ashes scattered across the grass. She dropped to her knees, sifting through the remnants, pulling out a half-melted earring, a charred scrap of fabric that might have been her favorite scarf. You burned everything? Are you insane? Her voice cracked, rising in panic. No, I said calmly. I'm just done. You announced you were going to fuck another man to improve our sex life, like I was some project to fix. You treated 20 years like it was disposable. So I disposed of what was yours. She stood up, eyes wide with fury and fear. This is my house too, my money. You can't do this. It was never your house. And the money? Consider it payment for the lessons you learned this weekend. Go stay with your yoga guy, or wherever. The divorce papers will be served soon. You abandoned the marriage voluntarily. I have the texts, the timeline. You won't get much. She lunged at me then, slapping at my chest, screaming about betrayal and how I was overreacting. I caught her wrists gently but firmly, holding her at arm's length until she stopped struggling. Tears streaked her makeup. Jacob, please. It was just one night. I was coming back. We can fix this. Too late, I replied. You didn't just cheat. You rubbed my face in it with a smile. Now feel what it's like when everything you thought was yours disappears overnight. She called the police, of course. They showed up, took statements. I explained calmly. She left willingly for a date, admitted she might sleep with the man, returned to find I had removed her things and secured my assets. No violence, no threats. The officers looked uncomfortable, especially when she admitted the reason she left. They told her it was a civil matter, divorce court, not criminal. She couldn't force entry into the house that was solely in my name. By evening, she was gone, driven away in her car with nothing but the clothes on her back and whatever was in her purse from the weekend. I watched her taillights disappear down the street, the weight in my chest lifting for the first time in days. That night, alone in the quiet house, I sat with another glass of Cabernet. The anger wasn't gone, but it had transformed. Revenge wasn't about destruction for its own sake. It was about reclaiming what she tried to diminish. 20 years I gave her loyalty, stability, love in my own steady way. She tossed it aside for a thrill and a casual announcement. I wouldn't chase her. I wouldn't beg. The house was mine again, clean, quiet, free of her ghost. The finances were protected. The kids would hear my side eventually, and time would tell who they believed. But for now, I had taken back control in the most final way possible. She wanted new tricks? Let her learn them somewhere else. Our bedroom was no longer hers to improve. The silence after she drove away that Sunday evening was heavier than I expected. The house felt cavernous without her scattered belongings, the closets echoing empty when I walked past. I poured another glass of wine and sat in the living room, staring at the blank spaces on the walls where our photos used to hang. 20 years reduced to ashes in a backyard pit. Part of me wondered if I had gone too far, if the cold calculation of the weekend had turned me into someone unrecognizable. But then I remembered her casual smile, the way she said might sleep with the guy like she was picking up milk, and the doubt faded. She had lit the match first. Monday morning came with a brutal clarity. I called into work and took a personal day, then met my lawyer in person. The divorce filing was straightforward. Irreconcilable differences, abandonment, and her explicit admission of intent to commit adultery. I provided screenshots of her texts from the weekend. The "had a great night," learning a lot, and a recording I had made on my phone of her announcement Friday evening. Yes, I had started recording the moment she dropped that bomb. Call it foresight or paranoia born from too many late-night true crime podcasts. Either way, it was ironclad. By midweek, the papers were served to her at her sister's place, where she had apparently crashed with nothing but a borrowed suitcase. She called me that afternoon, voice trembling with rage and desperation. Jacob, you can't do this. We have history. The kids are adults. I cut in evenly. They can decide what they think. You made your choice when you walked out that door for research. Now live with it. She cried then, real tears this time, not the performative ones from the porch. She swore it was only one night, that the guy meant nothing, that she had come home ready to make things better. I thought you'd be jealous, maybe fight for me a little. Not this burning everything, freezing the accounts, you're punishing me like I'm nothing. You made yourself nothing to me the moment you treated our marriage like a casual suggestion, I replied. Actions have consequences. You wanted excitement. Here it is. She hung up sobbing. I felt a flicker of something, pity maybe, but it didn't last. The man she had gone to see? I looked him up quietly through mutual acquaintances in her yoga circle. Mid-40s, divorced twice, known for charming married women with his spiritual guidance and bedroom stories. He wasn't some soulmate. He was a predator who preyed on bored housewives. She had been easy prey, announcing her availability like an open invitation. The following weeks were a storm of logistics and quiet victories. The kids called, first our daughter, confused and hurt, then our son, angry on her behalf at first. I told them the truth without embellishment. Their mother had informed me she was going on a date and likely sleeping with another man to learn new tricks for our bedroom. I showed them the texts. They went silent after that. My daughter eventually said she needed time. My son admitted he was disappointed in her. Neither rushed to her defense once the full picture emerged. Blood is thick, but respect is earned, and she had spent it all in one reckless weekend. Financially, she got almost nothing. The prenup we signed before marriage, something her own father had insisted on because he never fully trusted me, ironically, held up beautifully. It protected my premarital assets, and since the house was premarital and she had contributed minimally to the mortgage over the years, the court leaned my way. Alimony? Minimal and temporary, given her employability and voluntary departure. She raged through her lawyer, demanding half of everything, painting me as a vindictive monster who destroyed her life over one mistake. But it wasn't one mistake. It was the casual cruelty of it. The way she diminished 2 decades into something she could step out on for a thrill and return to, like nothing happened. That's what broke the last thread of loyalty I had. I started rebuilding. I hired a cleaning service to erase every trace of her scent from the house. Painted the bedroom a deep navy she always hated. Turned her old yoga room into a home office. Friends who had known us as a couple slowly heard my side and chose sides. Most stayed with me, uncomfortable with her story once it spread through our social circle. The yoga guy? He ghosted her after learning she was in the middle of a messy divorce with 0 assets left. Turns out new tricks lost their appeal when there was real fallout. 3 months later, I ran into her at a neutral coffee shop downtown. She looked thinner, older, the glow from that weekend long gone. Her clothes were simple, off the rack from a discount store. No designer bags, no expensive highlights in her hair. She approached my table hesitantly. Jacob, can we talk, just for a minute? I nodded, gesturing to the chair across from me. She sat, hands fidgeting with her cup. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I was stupid, bored. I thought a little adventure would wake us up. I never meant to lose everything. The house, our savings, the kids barely speaking to me. I'm living in a studio apartment now, working extra shifts just to cover rent. Every night I think about what I threw away. I studied her face. The regret looked genuine this time. You didn't just cheat, you announced it like it was exciting news. You came back expecting me to be the same steady husband, grateful for your lessons. You underestimated how much damage a single casual betrayal could do when it's delivered with a smile. She wiped at her eyes. I know, I destroyed us. Is there any chance, even a little, we could try counseling? Start over somehow? I leaned back, letting the question hang. For a moment I remembered the early years. Her laugh in the kitchen, lazy Sundays, the way she used to look at me like I was her safe place. But those memories were tainted now, burned along with her clothes in that fire pit. No, I said finally. There's no starting over. You wanted to learn new tricks from someone else. I learned a new truth about you. We're done. She nodded slowly, defeated. I deserve this, don't I? You deserve the consequences of your choices, I replied. Just like I deserved better than what you gave me that Friday night. I left her there in the coffee shop, paying for my own drink and walking out into the crisp autumn air. The revenge wasn't sweet in some cinematic way. No dramatic showdown or gloating. It was quiet, methodical, and complete. She had walked out thinking the marriage was hers to risk. I made sure when she returned, nothing was left for her to claim. Back home that evening, I stood in the backyard near the fire pit. The grass had grown over the scorched earth. New flowers bloomed where ashes once fell. The house behind me was peaceful, mine alone. 20 years gone, but a new chapter beginning. I raised my glass to the fading light, to new tricks indeed. Mine involved learning how to live without someone who could discard loyalty so easily. Some nights I still hear her voice in my head, that casual announcement that shattered everything. But mostly there's silence, and in that silence, freedom.
She chased excitement for a night and lost a lifetime. In the silence she left behind, I found something stronger than revenge. That is freedom.